Well, hello everyone. My name is Sharon. I'm a grateful exercise and food addict here in New York. I weigh and measure 3 meals a day from the Gray Sheet. I write my meals down, commit them to my Gray Sheet sponsor or another qualified Gray Sheet sponsor if she's not available. I don't eat between meals no matter what. And abstinence is truly the most important thing in my life. And I'm abstinent. For me, it's afternoon by the grace of God and the help of this program. And it's a real privilege to be at this meeting. I've only been to Europe once in my whole life. And that's where I met some people from the UK. I met them in a retreat that they had, a gray sheet retreat that they had in Paris when I was 3 years abstinent. I've been abstinent since April the 26th, 1996. And it is truly, to me, a big, fat miracle. Believe me. I mean, I don't even know. It's just one day at a time, one meal at a time. And it's so wonderful to see some faces that I know that are familiar to me and some brand new faces. So thanks for being here, everyone. So, what was it like and what happened and how did I get here? Well, I am grateful that a gray sheeter, I guess it must have been in 1995 or something, that I had met at another food program for recovery, was in a church vestibule, and I was waiting for my meeting, which my food group meeting, which was not Gray Sheet. And I had met her at a third step meeting where she was speaking on step 3. At that time, I was in this other food group with no food plans, like we have in Gray Sheet, no boundaries around my food. And I had been paying for this one program, and I had gotten myself by really restricting my food down to a very small size. But I was feeling those cravings that they talk about in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous when they talk about alcohol, because I was trying to weigh and measure foods that we don't eat on the Gray Sheet. And I had no idea that I had an allergy to these foods. So my skin was crawling. I was in this tiny size, much tinier than I am right now on the Gray Sheet. I'm at a very nice, healthy, medium size for me. Very strong lady here and very happy where I'm at. But then I had really, I had those delusional thinking and all this stuff and how you're supposed to look. And oh, it was so crazy. Anyway, she came in because we had to hold the door for the next person so that they could open the door for the person after that. And I said, oh, hello, and she said, hi. And she asked me, she said, how's your food? And I started to cry. This lady I barely knew. And she said, oh, what's the matter? And I said, I can feel this. I ate breakfast before I came here, and I can feel this urge to want to eat more right now, even though I've eaten already. And I said, I don't know what to do. It's almost like my skin is crawling. And she said, okay, why don't you come with me? So she took me upstairs, not to the meeting I was going to, but to this kitchen meeting, small meeting. I think there were fewer people on that meeting than we are here right in this Zoom meeting right now. And here they were, these Gray Sheeters who I had heard about in my other food program, who told me stay away from those people. Oh, so I came in, and this lovely young woman was talking about food the way I use food when I was binging, not when I was restricting. And I didn't restrict very often. Believe me, I am definitely a person who likes volume. And I ate like a champ. Let's put it that way. I'm also a sober alcoholic. So I tell people I ate like I drank. Okay. It was like nonstop. And the only thing that would stop me is if I got too full or whatever, or else I decided to restrict like I was doing then. Anyway, I lasted in Gray Sheet. I got a Gray Sheet. I got a sponsor that day too. But I lasted there for maybe 10 days. And I shared inappropriately. And I say this because I was one of those kind of people that did not take the eating addiction very seriously. My other addiction, for my other addictive substances, oh yeah, that one I took seriously. Plus, I was in the other program, and a lot of people I would speak to would say, "Oh, please, that's food is not that important. It's not that big a deal." Plus,
10 down, 5 to go.
Thanks a lot. So anyway,
That's all
right. Well, what?
Excuse me, 5 down, 10 to go. Forgive me.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe I was long-winded. Sorry about that for the recording. Anyway, I came from a family where they told me I was supposed to be a big girl, and they didn't say anything to you about my weight, because I was always very athletic and whatever. Anyway, so I came in, shared inappropriately, listened to the inappropriate people from my other program, and I said, something, I don't need to have a sponsor. I don't need to commit my food. Why am I doing this? And I left. However, I went from a small size up to 193 pounds. And it seemed like it took about a year. Now, I'm not just a plain old sugar person. I am a definite food addict. That's why I call myself that. There are foods even that are on the gray sheet that I used to abuse, even when I was in the foods, because I did not weigh and measure anything. And when I was not restricting, I didn't watch portions. I didn't do any of that stuff. So it took me not too long to get up to 193, but it was like, here I am again. And I remember waking up the morning, I think it was the 24th, maybe it was the 24th. And I got on the scale at 3:00 in the morning and saw that I weighed 193 pounds again. And I said, oh God, how did this happen again? Because that was my thing, yo-yo, up and down, up and down, up and down. How did this happen again? I'm supposed to know what I'm doing. And I remember getting on my knees and saying, God, please help me. So I started to search through all my diet paraphernalia that I had collected, looking once again for some way out. And I found that old gray sheet. Believe it or not, I found it. It was like God said, here. So I said, I remember this one. For those 10 days, even though I didn't hang around, my body got quiet. It was the first time my body was quiet. And in between meals, it was quiet. And the eating, I remember I was full, even though it seemed like, oh, well, this might not be enough. It was enough. So I said, okay, let's try it again. Let's go. And I went the next night and I saw this beautiful redheaded woman speaking, because I was kind of like, oh, I think it might be for young girls who want to get married and stuff like that. And I'm 47 years old. I'm divorced. I'm almost middle age. And then this woman was up there. She was my age and she was gorgeous. And she let me share. It was this little meeting on 86th Street in Manhattan. And I shared, and I was crying through the whole share. And then I went to 86th Street again, where they had a meeting the next night. And somebody raised their hand and said she could sponsor. Didn't share during the meeting. She didn't say another word except for that. And I went up to her at the end and I said, can you sponsor me? She said, sure. And I said, well, I'm planning to go to Paris one day. Can you do this in Paris? I got really, attitudinal. Let's put it that way. And she said, yes, you can do this in Paris. Well, the irony of that story is that her family was from Paris and her father was born there and she was going to go there in a couple of weeks. So on me, right? So anyway, she became my sponsor. She gave me all the basics. Plus she had these printouts of all these different things that she had learned. I think it was like a little book. I said, okay, I'm going to do exactly what this girl tells me, because I was 47. I think she was 20 something. Okay. And I said, okay, I'm doing what she does. I'm going to do it. I'm going to obey. I zipped the lip. I took the cotton out of my ears. I put it in my mouth. I listened to learn to listen. I sat at my meetings, like at this kind of a meeting. If I was new, I'd be taking notes right now. I had notebooks so that when I went to work, when I knew, I mean, I had an extension and everything next to me, but I couldn't be at a meeting. I would open up the notebook and see what you guys had said. Give time, food in one hand, life in the other. We don't clap. And I would even write down people's names, you know. I would go up to people who had 90 plus days of back-to-back gray sheet abstinence and ask them for their number. The speaker, whoever raised their hand, even though I had a sponsor, because she had told me, you know, get some numbers. And they were, on a New York community, they were so good because every once in a while, an old timer would come up to me and say, you need a number? Here, take mine. And they would talk to me. And I'd say, how do you stay abstinent? How did you do it? People helped me so much. They took me to supermarkets. They took me all over the place. My sponsor took me to my first abstinent movie. And this is the time of year where we have these holidays now. And that used to be eating central in my family and my, you know, my modus operandi on my job, the holiday parties, the whole bit. It was food, and all other stuff. And I said, how am I going to do this? Well, guess what? There was a meeting on Thanksgiving. We didn't have it organized, but it was in somebody's house on the Upper West Side, a gorgeous apartment. They took pictures of me and my sponsor and everybody that was there. And it was like, I got through Thanksgiving. I got through Christmas. And after Christmas comes my birthday, right? I got through my birthday. It was crazy.
5 minutes left.
Okay. And I remember when I got my year, my sponsor gave me my 1 year, my 1 year coin. And she said, thank you for staying. And she said, and you stayed. And you know something so funny, because on Zoom, when the shutdown started and I discovered the Zoom meetings, guess who was sitting in another country? Because we got split up because she moved out of the United States. Guess who's been sitting in that little Zoom box? My first Gray Sheet sponsor. Now, I got to tell you, I get really emotional about this stuff. You know, maybe other people don't, but I do. When I saw that woman, I started crying. And who was crying over there? Where she was crying over there. We were so happy to see each other. And it's like, oh my, it's like love. I have a beautiful sponsor now. She's in Connecticut. I've had a few sponsors because, you know, like sometimes the times change, you know, it's a little bit of conflict because, you know, maybe I get up earlier and I'm a lark. I'm a person that gets up before the birds do. So I like to commit my food early in the morning. And you might be one of those people that takes food at 9 o'clock at night. And I'm like, excuse me, but my brain shuts down at 8 p.m. So it's like when I remember, you know, having to commit it to somebody who wanted me to do it at 9 o'clock. And I slept through the time and I was so mortified. Anyway, what do I do now to stay abstinent? I weigh and measure my food just the way I always did. I do service, I sponsor. Now I'm a GSR and I'm going to attend my first World Service Conference next Sunday. Look at that. We're grown-ups now, girl. And what else did I do? Oh, and I know how to do Zoom. I do the Harlem 2 p.m. Saturday Zoom meeting. If any of you want to come and qualify, you can come 7 p.m. your time on Saturdays. And, you know, so that's great because I was on a computer for like 30 some odd years before I retired on my job. So I know how to work computers. I said, okay, here we go. We got some skills from the old days. Here we go. And I go to the gym. I am now 72 years old. And I went to the gym yesterday. We were working out. Before the workout, this young girl, I think she's about 20, and she's telling me, oh, I don't eat, blah, blah, blah. She doesn't eat anything. I said, how do you exercise without eating? And I said, okay, back off, Shaaron. Leave the girl alone. So she was just talking away, talking. And she and some other people were saying, Shaaron, you're getting to be dangerous now. Look at you. And the girl said, I want to look like her. And Shaaron, I said, oh. I was like, thanks, you know? Who knew? Who knew? Because I don't really think of it that way. I like when my doctor says, you're okay. The tests came out fine. See you next year. And I say, don't let the door hit me on the way out. I am out of here, you know? So I am so grateful, I got to tell you, to be an abstinent woman today. I've gone through a whole bunch of life stuff over these 25 years, of course, you know, deaths and happy stuff. But, you know, I just say, hey, anything that I'm going through, caring for older, parents giving care for them, finding out how the heck do you cook for somebody if they're eating non-abstinent food? What do I do at my holiday party? What do I do, when I go to the doctor and the doctor wants me to do something? How do you get ready? Well, I'm not going to say what that test is, but the test where you have to like not eat before. I call it the booty test, but that's not the official name of it. But I had to learn how to do that kind of stuff and stay abstinent. And everybody here in my sponsor knows how to do that. And, and I can pass that on to somebody else. And she has somebody, if she doesn't know, that tells her how to do stuff. And I still read labels like crazy. These are reading glasses. I got them so I could see that teeny weeny writing, on the little packages. It's teeny. And, I just am just a happy camper here. I have a pretty good life, and I'm really grateful to stay abstinent during all this COVID stuff. I did have COVID, but I did. But guess what? I just had slight temperature, a little bit of coughing, and had to take Tylenol and drink a lot of water. At my age, I was kind of scared. I said, whoa, this gray sheet thing and all this recovery really works. And GreySheeter brought me some stuff that I couldn't have. And people from my church were bringing me stuff. And I was like, wow, this is so awesome. I never was the kind of person that invited anybody in. Oh, thanks, Nancy. So I want to just say my life has changed in ways I never thought it would happen, because I had these visions of fantasy stuff going on in my head. But the reality of life is so different. And higher power, I am so grateful that my higher power answered my prayer, that I was on my knees, and brought me into GreySheet. So we don't eat no matter what. And thank you for inviting me to share.